Okay, hi friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessie if you're new here. I do all kinds of lifestyle videos. I do a lot of vlogs, motherhood, just being a human vlogs. And then I also do like personal finance videos. So I talk about our life living with debt, trying to get out of that debt and all that jazz. So if you're interested, keep on watching. Today I'm going to do a personal Q&A. So Benjamin, my husband, and I just did like a combined Q&A a couple weeks ago, but I had a request to do a personal Q&A. Sometimes in the little like YouTube feature, I'll ask a question like what you guys want to see from me. A couple of you actually requested a personal Q&A. So I have a whole bunch of questions. I don't even know if you can see them all. I'm going to try to answer as many as I can. I am sitting on the ground in my room right now, so this is my bed, that's Ivy's crib, and this is the closet doors, just because I tried to find like the quietest room in the house. Let's jump into it. These aren't in any specific order, but yeah, so I will go through these. The first question is, what did you study in college? What did you see yourself doing back then? And then there's somebody else asked, what did you want to be when you grew up? I'll kind of answer these all together. So I studied communication. My minor was women and gender studies. That's what I went to school for. When I was in college, I think my plan was to either work at an advertising agency or be on TV. We did like some stuff with TV reporters, and I very much realized that that was not what I wanted to do. I did not want to work in the news. That was just like not my vibe. I've always been better at like writing and organization and things like that. So working in an ad agency was my dream at the time. And I did that for a couple of years. It was hard. Working in an ad agency is really hard. And then I worked in startups. So I've always worked in like very high stress, high paced environments. But I did get to do that. So that was cool. When I was little, I'm sure I did not want to be like working at an ad agency. Like one thing that I remember when I was young that I wanted to be was a singer. Like I always wanted to be like a pop star, to write songs. I've always wanted to be a writer. So I think that all that stuff, like creative stuff. So I kind of get to do some of that now. Like I write blogs for a client. I do my YouTube videos, which is really fun for me. Someday I would like to write a fiction book, but just not there yet. The next question is, do you experience any more financial anxiety now that Ben has a steady job? Or has your stress shifted to other things like job loss, retirement, etc.? I was surprised when my income increased so much this year, but my anxiety stuck around. That's such a good question. I would say that my anxiety has gone down some, but not entirely. Job loss now is like a huge anxiety trigger for me. Like sometimes whenever Ben is like, oh, I have a call with my boss today, I get nervous. Even though like he's not going to lose his job anytime soon that we're aware of. If he lost his job, like we entirely depend on his incomes. That is a little bit scary, but I'm really glad honestly that he's not working for his own business anymore. He was like struggling to keep that afloat for years. It was like a hard point in our marriage. I would say my stress level has gone down financially because I know that we have enough money to pay for everything. We have a little bit extra. We've made a little bit of like movement on savings, but I have a lot of anxiety around him losing his job, even though again that's doesn't seem like it's on the horizon at all. And then I still have guilt sometimes that I don't work more, even though I literally don't have the space to work more. Like we'd have to send Ivy to daycare, which would just negate my entire salary, so it's not worth that at this point. Those are definitely things that stress me out. Moving back here has really triggered that stress because we had a lot of financial downfalls here in the Chicago area. It's so much more expensive to live here. It has like really already messed with our budget. There's still stress for me. Oh, and also the retirement thing, I'll be honest, we have never had enough money to be able to put money in retirement. And I know people tell you that you should be doing that from the time that you're like 18, it feels like, but we have never been able to contribute to retirement. We've both taken out our retirement in the past to pay off debt. We're in a really bad place with retirement stuff, to be honest. That's something we need to figure out. We were just trying to get back afloat once we moved here. So yeah, I definitely still feel anxiety. Hopefully that answered your question. I feel like I'm like bouncing all over the place. Do you see yourself being self-employed forever? Are you still doing some freelance work? How is that going? Those kind of all went together. Yes, I do freelance work for one client right now. I write 2 to 3 blogs a week for them, and then they pay me for those blogs. I have another client that kind of took her business and shut it down for a little bit of time. I've worked with her now for over 2 years. Has it even been 3 years? I don't know. But she's mentioned that she wants my help again in like the fall, but we'll have to see where we're at. I don't know if she's gonna come back at a high capacity. I don't know that I'll have the capacity at that time. But right now I have one client, and then I do YouTube, which I make maybe I think I hit the $100 threshold every couple of months. So I don't make much money. I don't have any sponsorships or anything yet. I really enjoy doing this. I would love for this to become job or income someday because I love it so much. But if it doesn't, I would still do it because I like doing it. And then, do you see yourself being self-employed forever? In some capacity, whether, like I said, it is freelance writing or YouTube or social media in general, I would love to do that. Or being a stay-at-home mom, because I believe that that's a job too. It's just not paid. I don't see myself going back to work. I love being a mom, which I never anticipated. I didn't think I would hate being a mom, but I just didn't know that I would love it so much. So I definitely don't see myself going back into the working world. I've always hated it. It's never felt right to me. And now that Ben's back in the working world, he can make so much more money than me. Like, me working in like a marketing position versus him in like an engineering position. Like, he started out at a salary that like I still hadn't hit, and I had been working for 10 years in that field. Right now, I don't see me going back full-time to a job ever, but you never know if the right job came up, if we needed me to, like if Ben lost his job or we needed the income, or who knows, maybe like once Ivy gets a little bit older, I'll feel a pull to work for a company again. But right now, if you had to ask me if I don't have to go back to working like a real job, like a full-time in-person or online job, I don't want to. If you chose to have another baby, do you think you would want a V-Bac after a traumatic birth, or would you immediately opt for C-section? So if you don't know, a V-Bac is vaginal birth after cesarean. I had a C-section, traumatic birth for sure. I guess like the long story short is, if you asked me right now, I would tell you that I'm just gonna opt for a C-section, even though it was extremely painful and like the healing afterwards was tough. But for me, I went into, you know, my induction being pushed back. I had a failed induction. My doctor basically assaulted me during my induction. Assaulted me in the sense that she didn't ask for consent in something that she did, and that caused a lot of pain and issues later. I went through labor, had very bad contractions because they were constant. They never stopped. Literally never stopped. Like, I didn't get any breaks. Finally had an epidural, and then they gave me Pitocin, and Ivy started reacting to that. Her heart rate started going down, so that's why I had to have a C-section. I was so exhausted from like not sleeping very well the few days before being induced because it kept being pushed back and I was nervous. And then the entire night I didn't sleep because I was having super bad contractions. And then I had the C-section, and then you have this baby, and then you can barely move, and you're not sleeping because they're checking on you every 15 minutes, it feels like. So I didn't sleep for multiple days. And I think going into it like with just a C-section, I won't have all of that. I won't have to go through an induction again. I won't have to go through labor pain again. And that will help with like the healing process from a C-section. There's a fairly good chance that I would have to have a C-section anyway, just based on like how my body progressed last time. That was a long-winded way of saying I do, if we ever do have another kid, both Ben and I agree that we probably would opt for a scheduled C-section unless something changes in the next couple years and I feel like I have a really great doctor who I trust. But I don't know. Do you think past you would be surprised with where you are now? Yes, for multiple reasons, good and bad. I think past me would be surprised that we still have so much debt, would be surprised with how I look, if I'm being honest. I've gained so much weight in the last couple of years. I'm trying to lose it, but I used to be like so much healthier. I looked healthier, I felt healthier. I would be surprised by that in the negative sense. I think in the positive sense, I would be so excited because working for myself has always been a dream of mine, and I think if I could like show myself even like 5 years ago that I was working remotely for myself on my own time, I would literally cry. I would be so happy because I just hated working in the situations that I was in. So I think I would be super excited about that. And then also I think seeing myself as a mom and like loving it, I would be surprised because I never really knew that I wanted to have kids. Even throughout my pregnancy, I was worried that I wasn't going to connect with the baby afterward. And thankfully I did. I connected right away with her. Well, after a couple days, just because I think like, you know, those first days of a C-section, I honestly don't even remember the first like 5 days of her life. I think I would be surprised about those things in a good way. And then there's a couple things that I would be like surprised in the opposite way. Long-term plans / dreams for yourself. Anything you want to accomplish by 40. Let me just say, by 40, I literally almost puked because I was like, no offense to anybody that's 40, but I was like, how in the heck? I feel like I'm 23. I think long-term plans and dreams, we would like to own a home. I would like to live somewhere that I really love and feel drawn to living there, like a literal house, and then also like the location that we live in. We just don't know where we want to live long term. So I think that's something that we really want. I would just love to be in a place where we don't have debt, or we have a really good income where we don't have to worry about things. And if, you know, something comes up, it's not this like draining our savings or anxiety. And some of that is like mental stuff that I need to work on. I think those are a couple of things that I dream for. And then I also have always dreamt of doing social media, of having a following on YouTube and sharing my life and having a community. And that's just something that I've always wanted, and I love that I have the community that I have now, and I'm so excited to continue to watch it grow. I just would like be so over the moon if it grew to the point where I had like a larger community too. So I think that's like a big dream of mine. I think I said in our last Q&A, I would love to like live on a lake. I'd love to live near mountains. Those are just things that I'm drawn to, but I'm not sure when or if that will happen. So I just want to be in a better place. I want to be happy. I want to feel healthy. I think that's a big thing for me. I want to feel healthy in my own body, not even just like weight wise, but just like with all my health issues. I want Ben to feel healthy. I want Ivy to be raised by 2 healthy people, both mentally and physically. Those are all things that I'm hoping for. I'm hoping that those are accomplished, or at least started to be accomplished by 40, but we'll see. We'll see what happens. I love that question though. How do you make friends when you move? Girl, I mean, can you please tell me? I have no idea. I wish I could be more helpful. We moved in 2020 and in the height of the pandemic, so we just like never met anyone. Ben and I don't drink. Well, he doesn't drink at all. I rarely drink. So, you know, we aren't going out to the bar and meeting people. We both weren't working out, so we weren't making friends that way. We don't work in person. It's a big reason that we left Raleigh. We had absolutely no community there. What I've done before in my life, before like I lived here, I've made friends on like Instagram, YouTube. I met my husband on Instagram. So like social media can be a really, really good place to meet people virtually, and maybe they live in your town, maybe they don't, but that can be a good way. I think if you have like a gym membership, that's a good way to meet people. If you take classes and like talk to people, if you have a job, you can make friends that way, but it's not always the easiest, or maybe you don't want to be friends with people that you work with, and that's totally valid. Sorry, this whole video I've been playing with my hair because I can see it in the viewfinder and it's driving me crazy. I've also heard with like kids that it's easier to make friends because like you start meeting parents and you go to like school stuff and all that stuff. I don't know if you have kids or not, but I've been told that that'll be helpful. Ivy's only 7 months old, so I haven't like met anybody yet. If you ever find out how to make friends, or if you have moved and made friends, leave comments down below because we all need some help on the friend front. Because best and most challenging time in your marriage or relationship. We've had a lot of challenging times in our relationship, and it's been hard, a lot more than it's been easy, which sometimes makes it difficult. Not necessarily our relationship, but like what life is serving us at the time. I would say the hardest time is right before we got married. We almost didn't get married. We almost called off our engagement. Benjamin got really sick. That's when our debt like started to snowball. We had a really hard time communicating with each other. He changed as a person during that time, and I wasn't sure that I liked that person anymore, and he wasn't sure that he liked me anymore. And it was a really, really hard and scary time, both financially and in our relationship. And we decided to move forward and to try to work on our relationship. We did end up getting married. We went through some marriage counseling, which really helped us with communication. We definitely still struggle occasionally. I would say that right now it's a little bit hard too, because we're getting less sleep, we have an infant, we're tired, we're worried about money living here too, so things have been a little bit off just in general, which I think is normal when you like first have a baby. I think that we've definitely had some challenging times in our relationship. As far as best times, honestly, when we first started dating, we had such a good time together. We went on like trips together, and we worked out together all the time, and we went places and we did things. We just had a lot of fun, and I feel like we haven't had a lot of fun in a lot of years because of either where our relationship was at, or most of it was money. Like, we didn't have the money to like go out to dinner. Ben couldn't eat certain things, so he didn't want to do that, or you know, he won't work out because it makes him sick, things like that. I think money really hindered our relationship. And I feel like when people say like money doesn't buy you happiness, that's like true and not true, but I think that it's a privileged thing to say that, because I don't think money buys you happiness, but money buys you freedom, and money gives you the option to do things that make you happy. You know, whether that's like not worrying about money, being able to buy yourself the groceries that you want to eat, being able to live in a safe neighborhood. Those are things that would make you happy and feel safe, and money is what you need to do that. I feel like we've had some really good times, and then during my pregnancy we got really close as well, just because he was taking care of me a lot because I was really sick, and we were doing things all over Raleigh, which was really fun. Hopefully that answers your question. Is Ivy the first grandchild on both sides? Are you close with your family at all? Ivy is the first grandchild on both sides. As far as being close to my family, I just didn't grow up in like a super lovey-dovey, always together family. If they're watching this and they're offended by that, I mean, it's true. I wouldn't consider myself super close to my family. I am very independent. I always have been. I like left the town that I lived in right after college. I moved all throughout Wisconsin, lived in Chicago, lived in Raleigh. Obviously now we're back in Chicago. I've never been super close, like in proximity to my family either, since I was like 18. That's just like not the way I was raised. Like, I was just in so many things, and I feel like I was closer to my friends than I was to my family growing up. I'm like trying to like tiptoe around it because I don't want like my family to watch this and to be offended, but I wouldn't consider us super close, although I do love seeing them and love visiting with them, and I love their interactions with Ivy. How excited are you for fall? What food, drinks, clothing are you looking forward to? I am so excited for fall. I love summer, but I love fall so much. I am a fall girly. I'm looking forward to the leaves changing colors. The trees in our backyard are gonna change colors. I'm very excited about that. I'm looking forward to like the crispness. I love wearing like a sweater. I love curling up in a blanket. Like, I just like that. I don't want to be freezing, but I like crisp. As far as drinks go, I don't really know, because Starbucks doesn't make my drink anymore, so I don't know that I will have any drinks. But the clothing and like the comfiness of fall, I'm looking forward to. I am interested to see what fall's like here again, because we had our last 3 falls in Raleigh, which were like perfect and beautiful. I feel like here fall can be a little bit shorter and rainier. So we'll see how much I love fall, but I am looking so forward to it. And to be honest, I've never been a Halloween girl, but now that I have a baby, I'm kind of excited about Halloween, not gonna lie. Dream vacation. This is a hard one. I went on my dream vacation. I went to Ireland. I would love to go back to Ireland. I think that that is a dream of mine. I would also love to go to Scotland and Switzerland. So those are my like big dream vacations. I would love to go there and just like experience the culture again. I love Ireland so much. I love the people. I love the landscape. I love everything. Scotland and Switzerland seem my vibe as well. As far as like in the United States, I would really like to go back to Colorado. I would love to go to like Wyoming or Montana. I feel like those are really beautiful places. I would love to go to Utah. Again, like beautiful mountainous places are the places that pull me in. Green, lush, beautiful. I've been to Hawaii, which was also really beautiful and lush. That's what I would like to do. I feel like when I was younger, I would have loved to go on like an all-inclusive vacation, but now I'm like, I just want to go somewhere that's like beautiful. Favorite childhood memory. This is hard. I don't remember a lot of my childhood. Like my memory just doesn't remember it. I can remember a lot of fun times with my friends. I had a super big friend group and I was in cheerleading. I was super involved in a lot of stuff. So I would say some of my favorite childhood memories are like 4-H, like doing stuff with 4-H and working at the fair, having my friends, Chris and Ryan and Michelle and Amanda and Sam and all these girls and boys coming over, and we would swim in the pool and we would have so much fun, and my mom would make a bunch of food. All those things I think are memories that I really cherish. Anything with my best friend Michelle I cherish. I've known her since preschool. My dog Sadie, she was my first dog that was entirely mine. Sorry, I have something in my eye. But she was a golden retriever and I was obsessed with her. So she's also like a really wonderful memory that I have. Best gift ever received. Okay, this one's hard to answer. My love language is gifts, but I don't feel like I've really ever been with anybody that's good at giving gifts. So my sister's really good at giving gifts, but Ben isn't. That's just like not something that he loves to do. I think best gift that I use the most is from my sister, is my Kindle. She got it for me like 2 years ago and I use it literally all the time. Another great gift is this Canon G7X that my husband bought me like a year and a half ago, like right when he got his job. I would say that's a great gift because I use it all the time and I wanted it so badly for so many years. Another good gift that Ben got me right in the beginning of our relationship was he like surprised me with a trip to Charleston and Savannah, Georgia. We did a road trip. It was so much fun. We had like literally the best time together. That's one of my favorite memories with him in general. So I think that that was probably one of my favorites as well. Are you excited for Ivy to start walking or terrified? I am terrified. She's so fast. As a crawler, I'm terrified. What do you think you'll miss about Ivy and being a mom 1 year from now the most? This is so hard. I love all of her firsts, and I know she'll have more firsts then, but like I love watching her brain figure things out right now, and she's so little and so cute and so loving, and I've always loved the baby stage, so I think I'm a little bit nervous about the toddler stage. So I think there will be times where I'll look back and like wish that I was back in the baby stage. I don't know that I'll miss anything besides like seeing her as a baby, and I know that time is a thief, so I'm sure that I'll be sad about that. I think I'll miss those things, but I'll also be excited to see what she's doing next. And then the last question is, what is the best part of your day and the most challenging? The best part of my day is when Ivy is crawling in my lap or giving me a kiss or laughing with me or playing with me, like waking up to her, like when I go downstairs in the morning or right before she goes to bed and she gives me cuddles. Like I love that. I thrive on being a mom right now, which is just like so interesting to me. So anything with Ivy, honestly. The most challenging is the lack of sleep. The lack and the broken sleep just really affects me health-wise. So I think that that's something that I've been struggling with, is the lack of sleep. And the days that I don't have help, so like that I have to do everything by myself, that can be a little bit challenging. When Ivy's not napping, like today, that can be a little bit challenging. It all can be challenging. It depends. If I wake up exhausted, the day's going to be challenging in general. For the most part, I look back on my days and I love what I got to do. Anyway, I hope that you guys enjoyed this Q&A. It was pretty long, but I hope that you enjoyed it. If you ever have any more questions, leave them down below. I can either do another video or I can answer your questions in the comments. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video.